Hello everyone, welcome back to the cavern. It's Bundok here. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I do have kind of a paint with me. I'm not going to talk through it step by step. I just picked up a Pathfinder figure that I thought looked pretty cool and I wanted to paint him. But we recently hit 100 subscribers, and I think when I started recording this, we are now at 102. So I never thought I'd even have like 5 people following the channel. So this time around, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, just so you know who I am, what I do, and why I can only really upload 1, maybe 2 videos a week. So we'll get started. I was born in 1994, Central Pennsylvania. I graduated in 2012. In that time span, I had 2 siblings that were born. They are both teenagers right now. I ended up, after high school, enlisting in the Marine Corps. I wanted to be an aircraft mechanic, but I took some tests. They found out I was smart, and I ended up as a cryptologic linguist. If there's any SIGINers watching, hello. I'd be very surprised if there are, though, except for the ones that know me in real life and gave me a pity follow. During my time in, I was all across the U.S., from California to Texas, to Hawaii. I went to the Philippines twice. I was in the southern Philippines, down in Zamboanga, and into the Sulu archipelago. I did get to have some liberty up in Palawan and up in Manila. Would absolutely go back. Maybe would go back. Definitely for the food. After the Marine Corps, I got out, and I was kind of weighing 2 options of what I wanted to do. I either wanted to have a food truck or go into funeral directing. No, I was not a huge Sweeney Todd fan growing up. It was just 2 things that interest me. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to be an Egyptologist, so I guess the easiest way to go into something like that and still make a profit would be the funeral industry. So that's what I did. I ended up going to mortuary school while I was working as a hibachi chef, and then working at Tractor Supply. While I was at school, I didn't work a ton because I was lucky enough to have that GI Bill, so I wasn't forced to work and go to school at the same time. But towards the end of my schooling, my last semester, I was working at a funeral home to get field study experience. And then the state of Pennsylvania, you need a 1-year internship before you can get licensed. So I did my internship, took my state and national boards, and became a licensed funeral director. I don't do that full time anymore. I now actually work at a national cemetery, so I can buy back my military time and, work towards a federal pension and all that jazz, and, quote unquote, focus on things that'll benefit you in the future with the way society's going. Not really the cookie cutter life I wanted. I always wanted to be a writer or get into art or creation of some sort. A lot of my friends were much more artistic than I was, which I think is why I have a hard time still accepting that painting miniatures is an art method. It's something that has to be learned, because while I'm getting better at it, I feel like, well, it's already something produced by somebody else. I'm just adding color. So it's still taking a little bit for me to accept that it is an art form. If I had it my way, I would stay home and paint minis and write all day while my husband brings me coffee and cats to entertain whenever I need a break. Outside of miniature painting and D&D, I'm a huge music nerd. I was a percussionist when I was growing up. I was in drumline and all that jazz. I'd love to play again, but I live in a small 2-bedroom apartment, and I don't think my very kind neighbor downstairs would be very partial to hearing a set half the day. And I also can't fit a marimba in my living room, so it's just not going to happen. But I love listening to just about everything. Ghosts, Nick Cave, Tom Waits. There's old school country, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams. I was thinking through my playlist. There's just about everything on there. And I try to pass that on to my siblings, but they don't always like my music taste, which is a little unfortunate, but I won't hold that against them. My husband and I were also huge book nerds. It's kind of a problem. Eventually we'll need to thin them out. My favorites, I would say, I'd have to say my favorite author, all in all, is Ray Bradbury. He kind of definitely influenced the writing style I have and what I would want to publish if I ever do. We'll see if that ever comes to fruition, but right now I'm happy with just making a little corner of the internet for folks to put in the background whenever they're painting their own figures. So yeah, full time, I hang out at the Hallowed Grounds, help people out. So I paint mostly in the evenings if I have the energy levels to, and the weekends whenever I don't have gaming or something else going on. So if anybody wants to see something specific out of this channel, or if they have, I guess, like a miniature request, if they want me to paint a mini so they can, you know, have that video on while they're painting the same one at home, or see how I do it, and if they don't want to do anything like that, they know what not to do for painting their miniature. Or if you want to know some of the world building techniques we have, I recently ran a homebrew campaign based around a lot of Filipino mythology, which was a lot of fun. You know, I can do videos on that. Just leave it down in the comments. Now that we have an audience that's large enough, I can take, you know, suggestions from. That'd be stellar. If you need any good, you know, post-apocalyptic fiction recommendations, drop a comment down below and ask for some. But no, all in all, I mean, I'm trying to think. My life, I feel like, isn't that exciting. I'm sure some of you will have some funeral industry questions, and, you know, I'll field those as they come, but I'm not out here to become Caitlin Dowdy or one of the Wild Boys and, you know, publicize anything going on there, because I personally am not one for it. Not holding that against anybody else. It's just not my thing. Moving on out, I'd love for this channel, you know, to get bigger and have like a Bob Ross vibe about it, you know, just come on in, grab a mini, put it on in the background so you don't feel like you're sitting in your study alone painting them up. Because that's kind of what I was looking for, and I didn't see a ton of people doing that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of the tutorials, people reviewing paint, brush techniques, refurbishing your brushes, you know, which airbrush is better than another, which brush or paint company is better than another, Games Workshop versus non-Games Workshop. I didn't see anybody just sitting down and hanging out and painting. And I'm like, well, you know, I can try to do that. I mean, why not give it a shot? And I mean, here we are, 100 subs in, much higher, like I said, than I would have ever expected. And hopefully we can carry that out moving forward. For this guy here, like I said, I picked him up off the shelf. I thought he looked cool. I wanted to paint him up, and that's what we moved forward with. I think I might do another paint with me video for a couple of figures I have some PC characters to paint up, so I'll walk through some of my techniques on however I'm going to approach them. And then I think I might actually have my first series for the channel planned. As always, I like to support my local game shop, and my husband and I went in one day and we ended up seeing they had Bard Sung for only $80. So even if we didn't end up liking the game, that's a lot of minis for $80. So I think we might have to have a couple of chronological videos on painting through that whole set, and I guess color coding and things like that, because they're already based. So I'm going to need to see if like I want to do a fixative so that it doesn't carry over whenever I prime. Maybe I'll finally get an airbrush for whenever I go to do that, so that can be a learning process there too. If anybody has played Bard Sung, let me know what you think, you know, both mini and mechanics wise. I totally understand the mechanics at the start are very in-depth. So if you tried it once and you didn't like it too much, I say give it at least one more chance. But I understand if you don't like it. That's one thing I will say, this channel, I'm only going to talk about games that I have played, because I can't really give opinions on things I haven't done. And I don't want to give opinions on things that I haven't played myself. If they don't interest me, I'll say that they don't interest me, but I'll still, you know, acknowledge that folks are requesting it. Like, I can assure you, like, I might paint a Warhammer mini because I think they look cool, because, I mean, some of them do look really awesome, but I'm not going to be playing Warhammer. A, because I don't have the time or the money, and B, I don't have anybody to play Warhammer with unless I go to a local shop, and I don't really like the shop gaming scene. It's just not something I enjoy. That's just me. Anyway, suffice to say, I hope that everybody enjoys the videos moving forward. I hope that if you have any requests or anything you'd like to see or any ideas, just drop it in the comments below. Again, I want to profusely say thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, watching these videos. It helps me move into, more creative things I would like to do in life. So as always, thank you for watching and take care.